Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. हरिनाम प्रभु की, श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की, श्री श्री राधा गोलोकानंद की जय. Hare Krishna. So as I announced earlier, we'll have a talk by Maharaj. At 6 p.m. we are going to go down and we'll have a trial run for the Rath Yatra and then Ekadashi Prasada. Okay? So thank you everyone for joining. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you very much, Aditya Narayan Prabhu, and welcome everybody to New Goloka. Gaur Purnima, of course, is on Thursday this week, and I'm sure Aditya Narayan Prabhu is going to be making announcements about Gaur Purnima when it starts. There's a poster out there, as you can see. And so I thought this evening we give like an introductory talk about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then we'll get into some of the pastimes, I guess, on Thursday. And then we have, I guess there's a dance performance or something that night. Drama, dance, what else? Abhishek? Is there prasadam too after that? There's no eclipse, is there? No. In Fiji, there's an eclipse. So they are having trouble figuring out how to celebrate, or eat, at least how to eat. Because you can actually celebrate Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, not the Abhishek, but you can do everything else during an eclipse. Because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared during an eclipse. Now you may say, oh, eclipse, oh my God, not so auspicious. But the interesting thing about an eclipse, even though generally it's considered inauspicious, is that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being the most munificent appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, can turn the inauspicious to an auspicious occasion. And how does he do that? Because when there's an eclipse, what do people do? They don't sleep, not supposed to eat, not supposed to argue, not supposed to go on the internet. That's in the Shastras. Right? Not supposed to watch a cricket game. Right? Even if it's between Pakistan and India, you're not supposed to watch it during an eclipse. You're supposed to chant Jai Shri Shri Radhagolokananda, Radhagolokananda Ki Jai, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastai Bhuvale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami, Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pacharni, Namaste Sunyavadi Paschata Dharni. You're supposed to chant and hear Krishna Katha. And therefore, an inauspicious thing becomes extremely auspicious. Just like many of you worried in your horoscope when you have what? Saturn. Oh my God, Shani. Oh my God. Yes, I'm going through my Shani period. Don't talk to me. Don't do anything. No. But actually there's the story, Ramayan story, how Hanuman was approached by Shani, and Shani says, your time, Hanuman. So Hanuman said, okay, sit on my head, do what you have to do. And then Hanuman took some big weight and put it on top of Shani, and Shani decided it wasn't a good idea to deal with Hanuman. And therefore, he left. And therefore, when one worships Hanuman or Lord Ram, or Lord Krishna, or Lord Karma, or Varaha, or any of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's manifestations, or any of the pure devotees of the Lord, then Shani cannot touch you. Interesting, isn't it? So it's the most auspicious thing. In this age of Kali, Kalerdoshan Hey Rajan Asheko Mahadguna. Kirtanada Eva Krishnasha Mukta Sangha Paramvajet. It's an ocean of quarrel, and everybody is Manda Samanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Upadrata. For those of you who don't understand Sanskrit, maybe we can ask our translator. Now, anyway, everyone is unfortunate, short-lived, right? Manda Bhagya means no good fortune. Isn't it? Manda Bhagya Upadrata. And no memory. Can't even remember where you left the keys. And then you can't even remember what the keys are for. Then you know you got trouble, right? Where am I supposed to put these keys in the car, you know? Of course, nowadays cars don't use keys anymore. So, Mandabhagya Padrata. So everybody is unfortunate, but there is a very good quality in Kali Yuga that more than compensates for all the bad qualities of Kali Yuga. And that's Kirtanad, Eva Krishnasha Mukta Sangha Param Vajet. Because simply by chanting the Lord's holy names, then one can get liberated. And not just liberation, one can go back to home, back to Godhead. I mean, take the typical example of a Jamil. You know, Jamil was greatly sinful. It wasn't even Kali Yuga. It was actually in the previous Yuga. And he was getting ready to be dragged away by your friends, the Yamadutas. And he simply chanted, meaning something else, meaning the name of his son, Narayan. He simply chanted, Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. And the Vishnudutas came. So powerful is the holy name. Nam Nam Makari Bahuda Nijasarva Shaktist. Krishna is invested. And this is Lord Chaitanya's teaching. So, anyway, let's chant Jai Radhamadava first, before I give the class before the class, which I do have a tendency of doing. Jayo Radhamadava Kundabihahuti Dhamadhava Kunjabiyari Jairano Madhava Kunjabiyari Dhamadhava Kunjabe Hari Gopinana Manaba Idivaruna Hule Gopi Janabalaba Idivaruna Hule Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tera Manachaude Yamuna Tera Manachaude Jai Huradu Madhura Gunyabikaude Joy Radha Madhava Kunna Vihare Gopi Janabalabha Iri Baladhari Gopi Janabalabha Iri Baladhari Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Manachare Yamuna Tira Manachare Jai Ram Madhova Kunya Bikago Pule Jai Radhu Madhava Kunya Vikhate Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Rahu, Hare Bo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnu Pad. Paramahansa Paravatakacharya, also Tada, Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace Abhaya Chananana Bhaktavananda Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Friends, say Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Sayamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Maturadam Ki Jai Jagadava Swami Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Srimati Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to the assembled devotees. All glory is to the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Samariti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dejatarni. So, we're going to speak a little bit about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose appearance day is coming up on Thursday. So, Om Ganat Timiranda Shah Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshur Unmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So first, we're going to establish irrefutably that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then we'll talk about his mission. Why did he come down as an avatar? The word avatar means to descend, avatara, to cross down to this world. So, first of all, why do we actually believe that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? You know, why? This is a really important point. It's called epistemology. Why do you believe in what you believe in? So, we have it on authority. Now you may say, whose authority? Of course, Srila Prabhupada's authority, and Srila Prabhupada is representing the chain of disciplic succession coming down from Lord Krishna himself through Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But you may say, well, he's representing the chain of disciplic succession coming down from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Now, of course, these are all pure devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, what other evidence do we have that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God? This is an interesting question, isn't it? Because you may say, well, that's your sampradaya. In my sampradaya, we think, of course, I'm not going to mention names, so-and-so is God. In his sampradaya, he thinks so-and-so is God. So, everything has to be based on Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. 3 things. You have checks and balances. Checks and balances means like the government is supposed to function. Not going to make any more statements about that. Checks and balances, executive, legislative, judicial branches. So you have these 3 branches of Vedic understanding. Guru, Shastra, Sadhu. Guru, of course, means what? Spiritual master. Coming down to disciplic succession, evam parampara praptam evam rajasho vidahu. Just like we have different disciplic successions, right? Bona fide disciplic successions. We have the Rudra Sampradaya, we have the Lakshmi Sampradaya, the Kumara Sampradaya, and the Brahma Sampradaya, and their modern day adherents. So that's Guru. And then there's Sadhu. Sadhu means saintly persons, but saintly persons means not just people with a beard, people with a beard can be saintly, or they may not be. So many times we find people who are acting as saints and they're simply interested in something else, making money or whatever like that. I'm not going to comment on any of the videos I saw about Kumbh Mela. It was quite interesting. Many different performers there too, right? So, and many great saints. So, sadhu means someone who's absorbed in sat. What does it mean to be absorbed in sat? That means Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti, subjute, according to the Bhagavatam. Any of the three aspects of the absolute truth. The Brahman effulgence, or the super soul in everyone's heart, or Bhagavan, who happens to be Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. So, that's what sadhu is. But everything is based ultimately on Shastra. That's the real foundation. And the Shastra is given to us by Vedavyas. Vedavyas, of course, is the person who compiled, he's the literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He divided the Vedas. Actually, the Vedas come from the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Vedavyas didn't originate the Vedic literatures. He compiled them. He actually divided them. Originally, they were one. Then it came time for Kali Yuga. So you divided Rig, Samar, Yajur, Tarva. And then people were even more stupid. So then you had the Upanishads, the Aranyaka literatures, other literatures like this. And then people couldn't, and of course the Vedanta Sutra, which is also a commentary on the Upanishads. And then people still couldn't understand. So therefore he had to write a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. Actually, first of all, there were the itihasas, the histories, like the Ramayana and Mahabharata. And then as far as the Brahma Sutra, which is actually the philosophical exposition of the Absolute Truth, then he had to write a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. And that commentary is entitled the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, anyway, with that introduction, I'm going to quote some verses from the Vedic literatures that establish, as I said, irrefutably that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the first quote I'm going to give is from the Atharva Veda. And that's, of course, also quoted in the Purushodhamani Upanishad. And I'm not going to read the Sanskrit, but there's Sanskrit there too. In the 7th Manvantara, the Supreme Lord will, accompanied by his own associates, descend in a golden form. He will teach the chanting of his own holy names. That describes Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but it gets more specific in other verses here. So, in other words, to accept someone as an incarnation, appearance, avatar of the Lord, there has to be shastric evidence. He has to be predicted. If he's not predicted and described in the Vedic literatures, we don't accept. We may accept him or her as a Shaktavesh avatar. So there's different types of avatars. There is the Shaktavesh avatar, Leela avatar, Guna avatar, Purush avatar. I'm not going to go through the whole list. These are different types of avatars. But as far as avatars that are directly 100% God, they're called Vishnu Tattva avatars. Vishnu Tattva means 100% God. Advaita Chitta Nadi Rananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha. There's no difference, just God acting in different ways, in different circumstances, according to his Leela. For example, you have Lord Ram. He is fully God. he's Krishna, non-different from Krishna. And Krishna is acting in that Leela with the expansion of Radharani, Sita Devi, to appreciate certain pastimes, to enjoy certain pastimes, to enjoy the separation from his beloved. I've been reading the Ramayana, of course I read the Ramayana quite often, that after Sita Devi entered into earth, it was something like 60,000 more years Lord Ram had to rule the kingdom. Wow. And the whole time, there was the golden image of Sita Devi, at least according to the Valmiki Ramayana, which is my source. That's Shastra. Prabhupada said that. So, can you imagine? The Lord is doing that to experience the intensity of Vipralambha, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also taught about, of separation for that amount of years, 60,000 years. Married, do you mind being separated from your wife for 60? No. Well, I'm not going to ask that question. Anyway, so, but in any case, amazing, like emotional depth. That's one of the purposes of the avatars, the Vishnu Tattva avatars coming down. But getting back to the point, apart from the Vedic literatures describing the Vishnu Tattva avatars, there are Shaktavesh avatars, which are great personalities who are empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Some of them are mentioned in the Vedic literatures, like Prithu. He was empowered to be a king. Or any pure devotee. Or Srila Prabhupada, of course Srila Prabhupada is not mentioned specifically in the Vedic literatures. He is mentioned by Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda states there will be a personality who will descend and will be a conquering general, Senapati, and spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. So Prabhupada was actually predicted, but Prabhupada is a jiva soul. He's not God, but he's the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. There's a little bit of difference when someone is empowered. So, anyway, so the point is we accept Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he is directly mentioned as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, fully, purna, complete. So, just more quotes here. This is another quote from the Atharva Veda, one of the what's considered to be original Vedic literatures, the Shrutis. Like if you talk to some Brahmanas in India, they only accept the Shrutis. Of course, the Shrutis themselves say, Panchama Veda Ichate Itihasa Purananam. Panchama Veda, isn't it? The Shrutis themselves say the Itihasas and Puranas are part of the Vedas. They're the fifth Veda. So, anyway. So those Brahmanas who don't accept the other literatures as Vedas don't accept even the four Vedas, which say that there's a fifth Veda. Do you understand the logic? So anyway, but in the Atharva Veda it says, Lord himself says, when between 4,000 and 5,000 years of Kali Yuga have passed, I will descend to the earth in a place by the Ganges shore. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's working. I just have to be careful not to blast the microphone. By the Ganges shore, I will be a tall, saintly Brahmin, devotee of the Lord, and have a golden complexion. I will be renounced and free from all desire. I will accept the order of renunciation, sannyas. I will be a devotee advanced in bhakti yoga. I will chant the holy names of the Lord. I will taste the sweet mellows of devotional service. Only the great devotees will understand me. It's pretty explicit, but it gets more explicit. In the Samaveda, we have another statement. To deliver the people devoured by the sins of Kali Yuga, I will, accompanied by my associates, descend to the earth in a place by the Ganges shore. I will be a Brahmin. I think I need that other microphone. Hare Krishna. Again and again I will chant the holy names of the Lord. So there's that quote. And then there's another quote in the Upanishads. It's called the Krishna Upanishad. In Kali Yuga, Lord Krishna will appear in a Brahmin's family. He will teach the message of the Upanishads and the Dharma Shastras. He will defeat the atheists and offenders, and he will establish the truth of Yuga Dharma. So, one or two more quotes, and then I want to get on to discuss the purpose of the Lord's advent. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have another verse. In Kali Yuga, you appear in a covered incarnation. You are therefore known as Tri Yuga, one who appears only in 3 yugas. In the Kurma Purana, it's stated to deliver the conditioned souls burning in the troubles of Kali Yuga. In the first Sanja of that age, the Lord will take birth in a Brahmin's home. Now, then we get more specific. In later on, in the same Purana, it mentions, in my original spiritual form, perfect and complete, I will become the son of Sachi Devi in Navadvip, Mayapur, at the beginning of Kali Yuga. And the final quote from the Vishnu Purana. Whoops, skip that. Right. These are all they're pretty much the same thing. Okay. The Garuda Purana states the Supreme Lord who enjoyed pastimes with the gopis, who day and night filled the people of Vrindavan with happiness, who killed Kamsa, and who in the war between the Kauravas made friendship with the Pandavas, will come again to the earth. Of this there is no doubt. His arm will be decorated with a bamboo danda, that's his stick. He will be a sannyasi, and his name will be Chaitanya. All right. I think you got the idea. So everybody here except Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, anybody here have any doubts that he's the Supreme Personality of God? Okay, got it. So, then we come to the question, why did Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appear? So, in every appearance of the Lord, there's 2, let's say, branches of purpose for the Lord. One is his own internal relishing of ras, like we mentioned about Lord Ramchandra. So Lord Ramchandra came down, Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Shadushkratam. There was this nice guy Ravan, beautiful girl Surpanaka, right? You know them? She needed a nose job, but anyway. So they were harassing, all the Rakshasas too. So he came down, Pritranaya Sadhanam Vinashaya Shadushkratam, to establish religious principles, protected Vaishnavas, devotees, like that. So, but also Lord Ram had his internal purposes, which is to relish separation from Sita Devi for 60,000. You may say, relishing? But the Lord is always absorbed in Anandamaya Abhyasat. The Lord is always experiencing ecstasy. So what is the ecstasy of feeling separation for him from Sita Devi for 60,000 years? But the interesting thing is, when there's spiritual separation, there's more connection. The love becomes sweeter and thicker. In material world, when there's separation, there's separation. Just like if we're feeling separation from Krishna, which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught, Jugayitam nimishena chakshusha pravashayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda vidahename. We're connected with Krishna. If you're not feeling separated from Krishna, and you're not a pure devotee, you're in trouble, buddy. Sorry. You're in Maya, or an illusion. So either you have to be with Krishna directly, or feeling separation from Krishna, everything else is miserable. But when you're feeling separation, you're with Krishna. If you look at a picture of Krishna, that's Krishna. Just like here's a picture, not all of you can see the picture, of Krishna and Radharani offering tulsi flowers at Krishna's feet. So Krishna is present in this picture. Krishna is present in the deity form. Krishna is present, of course, in his holy names. Krishna is present in the spiritual literatures, which you can get from Aditya Narayan Prabhu, if you're fortunate enough. In the age of Kali, you can buy Krishna. Just see how merciful Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. You could just get him with a credit card. And he's on discount today too, right? For the rest of the week, you know. This is Lord Chaitanya, he's giving a discount. So the point is, yes, Krishna is there. Therefore, we respect the book as good as Krishna. Of course, it's a different manifestation, but Prabhupada said to devotees who were traveling and distributing his books that you could worship the book. And sometimes when we give people Bhagavatam set, we have a whole installation, isn't it? A worshiping procedure with mantras and everything like that. So here's the picture. Lord Chaitanya is present in his picture. Prabhupada's present in his picture. So nice, isn't it? Just think how merciful the Lord is. So getting back to Lord Ram. So Lord Ram, when he was feeling separation from Sita Devi, he was with Sita Devi in a very intense way. That's called relishing the mellow or the ras. When the emotions get very intense. So the Lord likes to have very intense emotions. And Krishna consciousness, and one's Krishna conscious, the emotions are very intense, just like we are chanting every morning about pure devotees, Maha Prabhu Kirtana Richa Gita Valitramadyan Manaso Rasena Romancha Kampasru Turanga Bhajo Vande Guru Sri Chandanara Vindam. What does that verse mean? The verse means that when a great devotee hears the chanting of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Kirtan, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Panchatattva Maha Mantra, then tears come from his eyes. The hair stands on end. The body quivers because of intense emotions. That's enjoyable. In the material world, we try to experience intense emotions by some ridiculous means. Like we jump from an airplane with a parachute. Not me. Or we go skiing in the North Carolina hills. Not me. We do some crazy thing. Just to, stimulate ourselves. Or, this is what a lot of you do, you put a lot of chilies in your food. And so much salt There's hardly any sabji, it's mostly salt. Then sometimes someone gives me something I've cooked, prasad. I go, it's just too much, The blood pressure would go so high, it burst out the Brahma Randra at the top of my head. Right? Like a yogi, So, because we want to stimulate ourselves. I mean, actually, the worst possible thing is to be bored, not stimulated. So it's just, loud noises. I was just in Govardhan, and everyone's so loud with the kirtans, Wow. You can't sleep at night. They're going bat on the because I stay right by the Prikrama path, and they're just going in with these loud kirtans all the time. But that's good. They're chanting. And so we definitely want to stimulate. So Krishna, he wants to experience these emotions, and Lord Ram wanted to experience these intense emotions for 60,000 years. And even, another part of the Ramayana I was just thinking of. I don't know why I'm talking about the Ramayana. I guess I'm at Ram Bhakta too. So another part of the Ramayana, the intensity of emotions, was when at the end of the Ramayana, you have Lord Ram is approached by Kala, the time factor. And he says, I want to speak to you alone. Okay? And so Lord Ram says to Lakshman, you stay at the door, make sure no one comes in. And if anyone comes in, I'm going to either kick them out of the kingdom, there's two versions, or kill them. There's actually two different versions. The Valmiki Ramayana says, I'm just going to expel them from the kingdom. So, Lakshman is standing at the door, guarding. And then who comes but Durvasa? Durvasa? Durvasa means bad temper guy, sage. Everybody's scared around him, oh my God. And there's a story in the Mahabharata how Kunti Devi served him very, very nicely day and night. He'd wake up in the middle of the night and ask for something to eat. Or you'd cook for him, and then he said, I don't want any of it. And, so Durvas, so he comes and he says, I want to see Lord Ram right away. And Lakshman says, no, you can't. And then he says, let me in. And Lakshman says, I can't. And he says, if you don't, I'm going to destroy all of Ayodhya. And Lakshman is caught in the horns of a dilemma, as they say. What am I going to do? Let me sacrifice myself. So he goes in to see Lord Ram. And the time factor, Kala, disappears. And because the time factor has come to tell Lord Ram, it's time to go back to Ayodhya in the spiritual world. And, you're Lord Vishnu, it's time to go. You've accomplished your mission. Mission accomplished, as they say. And so, but Lakshman comes in, and Lord Ram says, now I'm going to have to get rid of you. And here's his brother. Lakshman was basically like Lord Ram's shadow. Isn't it? Inseparable. In the battle of battle with Ravana, then Lakshman was hit with the Shakti Shila weapon. Lord Ram, he said, I can't go on living without him. So there's such love between. So can you imagine? So the Lord likes to experience these, and that's the point. Started to talk about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but we're making a philosophical point here. So the same thing with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he wants to experience certain emotions, not the same ones as Lord Ramchandra. That's his internal purpose. internal purpose. Because some emotions, like the intensity of certain emotions, are best experienced in this world. Because in the spiritual world, there's not that type of separation. Even certain emotions like anger are best expressed in the material world. Like when Krishna appears as Parashuram, and he has to kill all the Kshatriyas, like 21 generations or something like that, and create rivers of blood, ghastliness. And he experiences what's called by Srila Rupa Goswami the secondary or indirect rus of anger. And also ghastliness, right? Can't have ghastliness in the spiritual world. So the Lord comes down to experience certain intensity of emotions that are not, those particular emotions may not be fully manifest in the spiritual realm like that. So, anyway, so Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has his specific purposes. These are called his esoteric purposes. The Chaitanya Charitamrita describes them as the primary purposes. And the secondary purposes are Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chadushkatam. So let's talk about the secondary purposes first. Of course, we only have a few minutes left. Secondary purposes, which are very important because they relate to us, are Jivadoya, right? Namaruchi, Vaishnava Seva. Those are the secondary purposes. And there's some examples of these different exhibition of these purposes. I want to give a few from Chaitanya Charitamrita and other shastras. One example that comes to mind of Lord Chaitanya's Jivadoya. Let's talk about Jivadoya. That Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his touring of South India encountered this person who had leprosy. His name was Vasudev. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him. And he became free of his disease. You know, so even on an external platform, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested his mercy. Now, as far as pure devotional service, then Tara Shakshe Jagai Madai. You know, there's the most famous example of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, as Srila Rupa Goswami described, Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Padayate. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tusena Maha. That you're the most magnificent appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead because you're giving freely love of God, which previously required absolute surrender, Sarvadharma Parityajya. But that also relates to the, let's jump back to the esoteric reason. Because the esoteric reasons are also three. The esoteric reason is that Krishna wants to experience the love that Srimati Radharani has for him, from her perspective. He wants to understand that love. He wants to enjoy from her perspective. And when he is in that mood from her perspective, that's called perspective taking, actually. That's a technical word they use in psychology. From her perspective, he assumes her compassionate mood. So the Jiva Doya, so we talk about esoteric and exoteric reasons, you know. They're actually both connected. One leads to the other. Because of the esoteric reason for the Lord's advent, that is appearing in the mood of Srimati Radharani, then the exoteric or well-known purposes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance become manifest. So you can't separate the two, but it's good to have them in different categories. Another example of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Jiva Doya. Because generally, we are not compassionate to people who attack us, are we? When people attack us, we say, Krishna, smash him. So better not to attack me. So, my dear Krishna, and I go to break my Brahmin thread and curse you. You know, anyway, I like the sages. You see so many examples of sages in the Mahabharata who just like they have to carry around the water pot just to curse people. Isn't it? That's the only purpose of it. You know, just go like. Isn't it? I mean, there's so many stories. This person then he became a demon, a goss, or a palamas, or you know. It's really, really interesting. But actually, a pure devotee of the Lord is what? Titikshava Korunika. Titikshava means he's tolerant. Korunika is full of mercy. Ajata Shatrava Shanta Sadava Sadabhushram. That's from the Bhagavatam. Of course, Lord Kapila Dev's statement. So another example of someone who actually was going to attack and maybe even kill Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there was a group of people from a different religion. I'll mention the religion. It's a Buddhist religion. And they wanted to defame Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and perhaps even poison him. So they presented Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with a plate of what they called Mahaprasadam. Now you know, Mahaprasadam, someone gives you Mahaprasadam, you got to take it immediately. There's no rules and regulations for Mahaprasadam. It could be the middle of the night, you could be sleeping. You know, like you're in bed and someone gives you Mahaprasadam, just eat it. That happened with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He was just like wiping his eyes, getting up in the morning before he did his sanja. And Lord Chaitanya brought Mahaprasadam, and he goes, all right. Not that you have to eat the whole plate. Just take a little. You get just as much benefit. So they brought this plate of what they called Mahaprasadam to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got ready to accept it, but then a big eagle came, or a big bird, and picked up the plate and dropped this big metal plate on the chief Buddhist's head. So he's knocked unconscious, concussion, and all of his disciples, they were very worried. Guru Maharaj, come back to consciousness. Of course, they generally, you know, if someone gets unconscious, we chant Hare Krishna, but these Buddhists didn't. I guess they just chanted void, void, void. Nivashesha, Shunyavadi, like that. I don't know, what do they chant? Anyway, whatever. So then they went to Lord Chaitanya and said, do something. And Lord Chaitanya said, all right, first repeat after me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And they did that. And then Lord Chaitanya said, go to your Guru Maharaj and you chant this in his ear. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu initiated the people who were attacking him. Can you imagine that? Someone attacks you and you say, would you like to take initiation? Without them knowing they were getting initiated. And then what happened? They chanted in the ear of their Guru Maharaj, and then Guru Maharaj came back to consciousness and he started chanting. So they, not only were they initiated, but they became gurus. Pretty quick, isn't it? The day of your initiation, you also become an initiating guru. And you initiate your guru. Think about it. And so that's what happened. That's really merciful, isn't it? Extreme mercy. And then, of course, you have even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates, like Haridas Thakur, when this Haridas Thakur sent a prostitute to defame Now, Haridas Thakur was sent a prostitute by Ramchandra Khan, and Ramchandra Khan was trying to defame Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur instead let the prostitute hear the holy names and initiated the prostitute, and the prostitute became a pure devotee of the Supreme Personality. So you have so many instances of this with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his Namaruchi. And Vaishnava Seva, let's get into that one, because we won't get a chance to tell all the stories I had prepared today, but Vaishnava Seva, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after his kirtan one day, he was thinking the devotees are hungry. So, the king of all fruits is what? That was quick. We had one devotee, he was so austere, he said he doesn't eat mangoes because he thought it was like breaking the regulated principles. It was so good. Anyway, so the king of all fruits is mangoes. So what did Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do? He took a mango seed, planted it in the ground, tree grew up immediately, and there were mangoes coming out of this tree without skin and without pits, seeds. And those mangoes continued to produce, the tree continued to produce mangoes every day for the devotees. That's really Vaishnava Seva. And another example is how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave mercy to those who serve Vaishnavas. There was the example of Srivas Thakur's tailor, someone who made clothes. And he was basically a meat eater, Balecha, sorry. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him pure love of God because he was serving Srivas Thakur. I mean, that's really an example, the importance of Vaishnava Seva. Another example of Vaishnava Seva is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showing in his own personal example that he didn't want to manifest his pastimes of being a great devotee until he served and took initiation from his spiritual master. So that's an example of Vaishnava Seva. And as far as Namaruchi, there's many instructions Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us as far as how to attain Namaruchi. Specifically, what? Shikshashtaka. Shikshashtaka is an instruction manual on how to achieve a taste for the holy name, beginning with the general definition of the holy name, and then ultimately coming to separation, Yugayutam Nibishena, and approaching the holy name. Your servant, whatever you want to do. Ashlishiva pada padashtumam darshanam armatam karotavayatata lampato prana natasta sevanapara. So many stories about how to achieve Namaruchi and how to avoid offenses. So these are Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's primary and secondary mission principles. And so this Thursday we are going to be celebrating Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, but we should remember that he's first of all, as I established at the beginning of class, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, accepted by Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. And secondly, what are the purposes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent? We worship Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but it's our business to help Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fulfill his purposes. Specifically, Namaruchi, Jivadoy, Vaishnava, Seva. And in this way, we will be able to enter into the eternal pastimes activities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, perfect timing. Any questions or comments? No? Oh my God. At least no one's sleeping. Yeah, Rishikesh. Yeah. What was he teaching? He was teaching if one becomes a leader of society, whether one becomes, prime minister or king or guru or any position of responsibility, one has to relinquish one's own personal interests. In other words, a king has to consider everyone as praja. This is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Praja means children. He can't play favorites. No more what we call nepotism. You heard the word nepotism before? Favorites for one's family. Now, that has to be a king. And a king is not a sannyasi. Obviously, he has a family, but he can't play favorites with his family. He can't appoint all his family members as cabinet ministers or whatever. He has to be concerned with the welfare, ready to make personal sacrifice for the welfare of the citizens. Whether one is a king, and every leadership position is like that. Even, let's say if one is just a mother or a father, Lord Rishabhadeva describes one should not become mother, if we're mother or father, unless one is capable of taking responsibility and freeing one's dependence from the cycle of birth and death. That means relinquishing personal interests. That's really what it indicates or means. So Lord Ram was showing that if you're going to become a king, then that's the way you have to be. You can't just be someone interested in your family and the jewelry and the crown and everything like that. Lord Ram is, Patita Pavana, Sita Ram. So that's why it's described that anybody had the right, any citizen had the right to approach Lord Ram to make a complaint. You know the whole story about the dog, right? Everybody knows that story? The dog came to the castle or wherever, because they didn't have castles in those days. That's Europe. So, the palace. And the dog was making a complaint. This would be a good movie, a talking dog. We can use the AI to make a movie like that. Right? It would make really good. There's this nice software called InVideo you can use for this. So so anyways, the dog comes and makes a complaint. I want to speak to Ram. Okay, what's wrong? All right, let him in. So he says, this Brahmana beat me. And so he goes to the Brahmana, did you beat him? And the Brahmana said, yeah, I was hungry, in a bad mood. And then there's some discussion. What is the sentence that we give the Brahmin? How do we punish him? And the dog says, this is a famous story. The dog says, make him in charge of the ashram. Because anyone in charge, a king, whatever, has to take a certain percentage of the karmic reactions for the people that the people do under him. And the dog said, that's how I became a dog. I was in charge of the mandali. And people were drinking at the mandali. So anyway, Lord Ram was showing that. You have to be equal even to a dog. And what to speak of a cow? You have to protect all this praja, all the citizens. Does that answer your question? That's what he was showing. That yes, you have to suffer sometimes out of separation, or personally suffer to carry out your duties. That's Kshatriya. That's a Kshatriya's business. Scary. I'd never want to become a king. Okay, so I think that's it for the time. Okay, so thank you very much. All glories to His Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for starting off the class with the Shastric evidences about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Many people will talk to, they are like, how come only ISKCON worships, accepts Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Krishna? But Maharaj so nicely established, that's just all over our Shastra. And then going to the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So such a beautiful class for meditating on our upcoming Gaur Purnima festival. So let's express our gratitude to Maharaj for this wonderful class. Hari Bol!
Srila Prabhupada.
His Holiness Big Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki.
Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. So, few quick announcements. So, we would like to thank the devotees who have cooked the offering, the prasadam offering for the pleasure of their Lordship, Shri Radha Golokanda, Shri Prabhupada, and all the Vaishnavas. So, today's Sunday feast is prepared by Sakhi Priya Mataji and her entire team. So, let's thank them and pray to Shri Radha Golokanda to shower their blessings on all of them. So, let's loudly chant Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Also, we would like to thank the devotees who have sponsored the feast today. Ekadashi, very auspicious day to sponsor. So, thank you to the families who sponsored. So, we would like to thank Acharya Sevak Prabhu, Radhakunda Mataji, and they have sponsored this for Krish's birthday. Are they here? Where's Krish? Oh, right here. Okay. His birthday is today? Okay, last week. Okay, March 1st. Okay, so let's thank the family and pray for the family and also pray for Krish. So let's loudly chant Shri Radha Golokanda bless and empower this entire family. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Also, today's feast is sponsored by Brijesh Prabhu and Divyambara Dhara Mataji. And this is for Brijesh Prabhu's birthday today. And also Raghav's birthday is this week. Tomorrow. Okay. So we'd like to thank them for sponsoring. And also let's pray for this family. Praying for Raghav and Brijesh Prabhu and Mataji and Mancha for all their services for New Goloka and always being there to help with so many different services. So let's pray to Shri Radha Golokanda to shower their blessings on this wonderful family. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So coming up on Thursday, Shri Shri Gaur Purnima Maha Mahotsav ki. We have got this very, very special benediction by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And let's all, everyone, please come together to celebrate this most wonderful festival, most merciful festival of the year. So Thursday, it's a working day. Try to come early. 4:30 p.m. we start with bhajans, and then Maharaj will give the talk at 5 p.m. So make sure you're here by 5 p.m. And then at 6 p.m. we'll have Abhishek of Panchatattva, all 5 personalities. There'll be a grand Abhishek. Everyone can participate. 7 p.m. there'll be Aarti. And then 7:15 there's going to be a performance. There's going to be dance drama performance by the BKG Academy, the school here. So all of the children will be performing. And then we'll have wonderful prasadam for everyone. So everyone please join, and also we have sent out the email and WhatsApp messages. If you can share it in your communities or any other groups, invite everyone to come and receive the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By us distributing this, we get more mercy, right? And also they get so much mercy. So please everyone share the word. Many of the universities have spring break this week. So maybe more people are free to join, So please spread the word and let everyone come. And for the Gaur Purnima festival, if you like to sponsor, it's a very auspicious day to sponsor, to receive the mercy of Mahaprabhu. The Maha Abhishek and Maha Aartik sponsorship is 108. You can sponsor the flowers for the day for $501, jewelry for the day for $251, and new DT outfit for $501, and then the Maha Prasadam feast for $301. Right? So please consider sponsoring. It's a very, very auspicious day to make a sponsorship. You can sponsor any of these aspects. I'll be down near the prasadam table. You can let me know and you can sponsor these aspects of the festival. Okay.